Hello guys, welcome back to the Quantity surveying workshop and to another video. In today's video we are going to be starting a new series for measurement for finishes. In the comments I've seen that some of my viewers are asking for roof measurements, so maybe after this series I'm going to begin measurements for roofs. So I would plead that we subscribe to the channel. Let's try and get this channel to about 250 subs, and then we would see maybe before then the measurement for roofs and trusses would be available. So please subscribe so that this channel can grow. And also do not forget to like the video has so much views and the likes on the video are not as much. Please, liking the video shows the algorithm that you're getting information from the channel, and it helps to promote this channel to other viewers on YouTube. So please do not forget to like, do not forget to share, and most importantly do not forget to subscribe. So in calculating for finishes for buildings, it is divided into three sections. That's the wall finishes, the ceiling finishes, and the floor finishes. You all know after the crackers of the building has been erected, this building needs to be it needs to be finished, kind of like it needs to be rendered, plastering, painting, and all those things need to be done. That is what we call that is what we'll be doing in the wall finishes. So that section is going to take the form of rendering and painting. Then there's also what we call skirting. Now skirting is that part of the building where you see a finishing, be it tiles or wood, just at the side of the area or the perimeter of the room. So all those little tiles that you see at the side, those little tiles lined at the side of the rooms, is what we call skirting. Now I want you to also have in mind that when you are doing something like tiling, there are two things you should have in mind. Number one, backing, and number two, bedding. Now you know that when you are trying to fix your tiling on the wall, there's a cement or there's mortar that you are going to be using to fasten these tiles either on the ground or on the wall. Now when the tiles are being fastened on the wall, the mortar used is called backing, and when the tiles or the finishes are being fastened on the ground or on a ground surface, the mortar used is called bedding. So have that in mind, backing and bedding. So now the next thing now we're going to be treating after wall finishes is going to be the ceiling finishes. Now ceiling finishes can come in different forms. There's PVC, there's POP, and there's so much more. It can be a concrete finish or something. So there are different kinds of finishing depending on the specification of the drawing. Then the last thing we're going to be measuring for is the floor finishes. Now you know that there are also different kinds of floor finishes. There are wooden finishes, tilings, marble finishes, and so on and forth. There's concrete finishes and so on and so forth. So it also depends on what the specification of what you're drawing. First, I'm going to be starting with the ceiling finishes and the floor finishes because they are very easy to understand. Meanwhile, this wall finishes, it is very easy. However, it is cumbersome because there are certain calculations that needs to be done in the wall finishes. So I'm going to leave the wall finishes for last. So first, this video we're going to be treating the ceiling finishes. So let's get right into the video. Now when calculating or measuring for the ceiling finishes, I want you to have in mind that the ceiling encompasses the compartment of the building. So as you all know, the ceiling is usually the end-to-end dimension of the building. That's inside each room is when you have the ceiling. So it means that, for example, this kitchen, this area here is what contains is what would carry what a ceiling. So it means that when you are measuring for ceiling, you need the area of each rooms in this plan. So it means that this area here would carry what a ceiling, just like you have in your room. This guest toilet here, the area inside would have a what ceiling. The porch too outside, this area would have what ceiling. The master's bedroom, this area would have what a ceiling finish. So the end-to-end dimension of each room partition is what is going to what carry a finish. So the first, now we will start with what the kitchen. Now, like I said, what we need is what the area. That is, the two parameters we are going to be looking for would be the length and what the breadth. So as you all know, the longest side of the building is what is the length of the building. That's 12,825. So we're going to be taking all dimensions horizontally like this as our length, and all vertical dimension like this as our width. So let's start. The length of the kitchen would be what? That's the end-to-end dimension of the kitchen. That's from here to this end is giving us what? 3,300. And the width of the kitchen end-to-end dimension is this to here, which is what? 3,000. So it means that when we times 3,300 and 3,000, it will give us the area of this kitchen. So we'll start. Kitchen, and the length is what? 3,300. Convert it to meters. That's 3.30, and the width is 3,000. Convert it to meters. That's 3.00, and then we close. Doing this, you've booked for what? Kitchen. You move to the next one, and the next one, let us use our what? Master's bedroom. So it means that this entire area here in the master's bedroom is what is going to carry what? A ceiling finish. So the length of the master's bedroom is what? 4,400, and the width of the master's bedroom is what? That's from here to here is 3,600. So we book. Doing this, we've booked for what? Master's bedroom. Then the next one we'll book for is what? The master's toilet. So now we know that this is the master's toilet here, this entire space here. So we would say the master's toilet, now the end-to-end dimension for the length is what? 2,000, and the end-to-end dimension for the width is 1,650. So we book. That's 2.00 by what? 1.65, and then we close. Then the next one would be the closet. So as you can see, the length of the closet is what? 2,000, as stipulated in the word dimension. So the closet from here to here is 2,000, and then from here to here is not given in the plan. So these are the technicalities of understanding what your plan says. So we know that from here to here is what? 3,600. They've given us from here to here as 1,650. We know that the thickness of our wall is what? 225. So if we minus 1,650 and 225 from 3,600, is going to give us the length from here to here. So that will give us 3,600 minus 1,615 minus 225 is equal to what? 1,725. So it means that from here to here is 1,725. So we book closet would be what? 2.00 by what? 1.73, and then we close. So next would be the lobby, the toilet 1 and toilet 2. So if you look at this, the dimension for the length for toilet 1 is 2,000, the width is 1,200. Also toilet 2, the length from here to here is the same as that of toilet 1. So what we can do, there are two things. Instead of wasting your time booking for toilet 1 and then booking for toilet 2, you can book for toilet 1 once and then times it by 2. Then you can now describe, or you can now state that it is for both toilet 1 and what? Toilet 2, because they are the same dimension. So we will do that by saying this: toilet 1 and what? 2. The length is what? 2,000, that's 2.00, and the width is 1,200, that's 1.20. Then we close, and then you now times it by what? 2. So on doing that, you booked for toilet 1 and 2. Then next would be for the lobby. Now if you look at this diagram, you can see that the lobby, that's this area here, the length of the lobby from here to here is 4,400 as stated in the dimension, and the width from here to here is not given. So we have to look for what the width from here to here is. We know that the end-to-end dimension for toilet 2 and toilet 1 is 1,200. So when you add them together, it gives you what? 2,400. Then there's this wall thickness here, which is 225. So you have to add them together. So 2,400 plus what? 225 will give me what? 2,625. So it means the dimension from here to here is 2,625. So we will book. Our lobby would be what? 4.40, that's the length, and then the width will be what? 2.63. And then we close. So next would be for bedroom 1 and what? Bedroom 2. Again, if you look at the drawing, the dimension or the length for bedroom 1 is given as what? 3,200. It is also the same thing for bedroom 2, 3,200. The width for bedroom 1 is 3,600. It is also the same thing for what? Bedroom 2. So we'll take the same approach we used in measuring for toilet 1 and 2, since they are the same. So we'll come here and write bedroom 1 and 2. The dimension or the length is what? 3.20, and the width is what? 3.60. And then we close and then times it by what? 2. Doing this, you booked for what? Bedroom 1 and what? Bedroom 2. So the next will be the porch. Now when we're outside this porch, we're also going to see ceiling finishes at this porch area, so we have to also book for it. So the length of the porch, that's from here to here, is 5,525, and then the width from here to here is giving us what, 1,200. So we will book. $5,525 divided by 1,000 give me 5.53 in 2 decimal places by 1.20, which is the width, and then we close. Doing this, we've booked for the porch. Next, we'll go to the guest toilet. Now, if you look at the guest toilet, the in-to-in dimension from here to here is giving us what, 2,500, and the in-to-in dimension from here to here is 1,200. So we can book. And then we close. Doing this, we've measured for what, the guest toilet. So the next one would be what, the sitting room. So now if you look at this sitting room here, you would notice that it is not a definite shape. If you look at the combined this thing of the sitting room, that's this space here, the entrance to the guest toilet, and what, the dining, it is not a definite shape. It is neither a square or a rectangle. So what do? We are going to be making this, we're going to be converting this shape here into what, a definite shape that we know. So we can see that this shape we're seeing is something like this. That's what we're seeing here. So what we can do now is to break this shape here, this complex shape, into simpler shapes. So I can cut this one like this to make here a rectangle. I can cut this one like this to make here also a rectangle. Then here would now become what, a rectangle. Now, knowing this, we know what you know, the parameters for calculating area of a rectangle, so it makes things easier like this. So we'll start with what, the sitting room. So if I break the sitting room like this, it means that the ceiling would be around the sitting room area. So we know that the length of the sitting room in, that's from here to here, is giving us what, 5,525, and the dimension from here to here is giving us 4,200. So we can book for the sitting room as what, 5.53, that's when you convert it to meters, by what, 4.20, and then we close. Doing this, you booked for the sitting room. So now since we've booked for this area here, now we are going to book for what, the dining. Now you know that we've made everything easy now by converting this thing into a regular what, square or rectangle. So we've booked for the sitting room. Next would be for what, the dining. So this entire area like this is what we're going to be booking for what, the dining. So now you know that the in-to-in dimension, the length of the dining from here to here, is giving us what, 2,000, and we know that the end-to-end dimension from here to this end is giving us 3000, but we also have a thickness of this wall here that we need to cater off. If we don't cater for it, we're going to book less of what we are supposed to book. So you have to be very calculative when doing things like this. So we know that the end-to-end dimension from here to this end here is giving us 3000. So we need to know the dimension from this end, which is the thickness of the wall, and the thickness of our wall is what? 225. So if you add 225 to 3000, it will give me what? 3000 what? 225. So it means that when we're booking for the dining, the length of the dining is 2000, which is what? 2.00, and the width of the dining is what? 3225. So we convert it to meters to give me what? 3.23, and then we close. Doing this, we've booked for what? The dining. So what is left now would be this space here. Now you can see that this space is not really defined in the plan, so it is left for you now to define this space as anything. So I can define this space as entrance to guest toilets, right? So that it can be easily understood by whoever is making use of my measurement sheets. So now I will say that this space here would be the entrance to the guest toilet. That's this space here. Now how do I measure the area for this space? I know that the length from here to here, or let me just use here rather, from here to here is giving us what? 5525. 5525. And we know now that from here to here is 2500, and there's a thickness here of what? 225. So if I add 2500 and 225, it will give me the entire length of this block work here. So 2500 plus what? 225 is going to give me what? 2700 and what? 25. That means from here to here is 2700 and what? 25. So now, since we know that from here to here is 2725, we're not going to less it from what? 5525. That's from this entire length here to give us the length of this space. So I'm sure you understand. Then now, how do I write it down in my taking off sheet? We'll now say entrance to guest toilet. So we know that the length of this space from here to here is giving us what? 5525. So I write it down. Length is equal to what? 5525. Then you know that we are going to be lessing first 2500, then we're going to less this thickness 225. So we'll say less 2500 and also less what? 225, and that will give us 2800. So it means that the dimension from here to this end is 2800. So that is our length for the entrance to the guest toilet. So we have to calculate for what? The width. That's from here to what? To here. So now they've told us that from this end to the end of this block work here is giving us 1200. but there's a thickness of 225 at this end, so we have to what, cater for it by adding it. So we will now go to the width. Know that the width is what, 1200, so we'll add wall thickness, which is what, 225, and that will give us what, 1425. So we've gotten the width, we've gotten the length, and we've gotten the width of this spacing here, so we're going to what, book. We'll book it as what, what's the length, 2800, convert it to meters, that's what, 2.80, and the width is 1425, convert it to meters, that will give me 1.43, and then we close. Doing this, you've booked for the entire parameter of this plan, all the rooms in this plan. Now it means that you've booked for it. So all you need to do now is to describe. Now, like I said before, the description of work should be based on what is given to you in the specification. However, this is just a caricatured work. It is not really expansive, like many details are not given. So we're going to assume that the finishing used is plasterboard. So we will book by saying Rateman as type plasterboard, schemed with 5 mm thick coats of what, hard wall plaster. So this is the booking for what the ceiling finishing used. So whatever kind of finishing they give you in your specification, that is what you're going to be describing here. So this is just based off of assumption, the description. However, this is how the calculations are usually done. So doing this, we've calculated for what, ceiling finishes. Then next, in the next video, we're going to be treating floor finishes. So please do not forget to like, share and subscribe if you had adequate knowledge on this video. As for the roof finishing, like I said in the start of this video, let's try and get the channel to 250 subscribers, and hopefully by then the roof videos would be available for viewing. Thank you, and we'll see you in the next video.